Today we're gonna cook some stuff. Okay. What we're actually gonna be cooking today is something I actually saw on the Ignis cookbook. It's some lasagna. Uh, Honestly, it's gonna be pretty fun making this. It's gonna be different for one thing for this channel thing that I'm kind of experimenting with, and also it's gonna be kind of fun because I really do like to cook, and I've been trying to find something else to incorporate into another stream and all that other stuff. But cooking today with Ton here, we're gonna be making lasagna. Okay, like starting off, no doubt you need a lot of stuff. Loads of stuff. We've got squash, zucchini, beef, ground beef, some turkey sausage. Because I couldn't find Italian sausage, I'm gonna use these various spices to make all that happen. Ricotta cheese, tomatoes, lasagna noodles, obviously, and some good old Parmesan cheese. And preferably granulated on that one. Sorry about the clutter of everything right here, but it's all about to look real different when we get shit started. Okay, it's a little dark. No, it's not. First thing you obviously want to do is go ahead and like rinse off and clean all the vegetables that you've got from the grocery store. I mean, that's definitely a good step. Something to be used to doing, because rinsing them off, you don't know where these things came from. You don't know who's touched them. I know you got them from the grocery store, and I know you're about to cook with them, but rinse them off. I promise you, they need it. This one was organic. That means poop was probably on it or something. Fertilizer. I don't want to eat that. I'm gonna wash this stuff. And that one's not even red yet. But I'm gonna wash this stuff, and we'll get back to it, and we'll start with the sauce. Irrelevant Earl Grey tea. Okay, first off, we're gonna be making our own sauce here. We're gonna be starting off with 4 pretty plump whole red tomatoes. Yeah, just gonna be starting off with that, and you really just gotta let them sit. Bring the water to a boil. Kind of check on them a little bit here and there, and pretty much you'll know when they're done. Right after that, give them a good cold water rinse. We'll get into that here in just a second. Actually, forgot to mention that you need onions too. You actually want pretty much a whole onion. I had a red onion here already, so I didn't really have to buy that, but it goes without saying, chop up your zucchini and squash while you wait for your tomatoes to boil for your sauce. If you actually have tomato sauce that you bought from the convenience store or wherever really, that's actually completely okay to use. This is just something that I like to do. So if you actually have a can, like the actual recipe says, I'm going to post it on there too, on this video, on and off throughout it. But basically, I just really wanted to make my own, whatever. But yeah, chop all this stuff up and get ready. While you're actually boiling those tomatoes, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and have everything else that you need measured up. We got like 2 tablespoons of basil, a tablespoon of oregano. You don't really have to do this, I just like things spicy. We've got a tablespoon of crushed red pepper, a tablespoon and a half of parsley, and then 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, and you're going to need about 2 bay leaves as well. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually have another one crushed up, because this is really just for flavor and everything. We'll be combining these in just a moment. This is pretty much what I was talking about when I was saying you'll notice when the tomatoes are done, the skin itself is actually already starting to kind of burst out. At that moment, you want to take out all the tomatoes and actually put them into some cold water, which I'm going to actually do. Okay, this next part, once you've got them into the cold water, this is what I was talking about, the skin actually just peels right off. That's the best part about this. Just peel the skin off the best you can. And from there, we're gonna really just kind of work it out of all of them, all four, because don't really want the skin in the sauce. It's all stringy. But once you've got all of these skin pretty much, see how easy that was? We're going to be blending it with all of the spices and then putting them into a pot to boil. It's pretty much that simple though. Just good old boiled tomatoes. Okay, once you got them all skinned, you want to cut out all of these things here where the stem was. Basically, you don't really want to eat that. You can if you want, I guess, if that's what you do, but I don't eat that. Anyway, cut those out. Be very careful. These tomatoes have been boiled. They're very soft, so careful with the knife. Okay, once everything is good and chopped, you want to load it up into the blender. And basically, you can just kind of do your own thing. Me, I'm going to go for the good old mix it, and then probably go for the blend. The good blend. Alright, let's go ahead and load up on all of our spices. That's the basil. What I'm going to actually do is just put them into a bowl, then put them into the blender, blend them all in there. Then put it into the pot to boil. That was the oregano. The crushed red pepper. Again, optional for the crushed red pepper if you don't like it spicy. Then your parsley. And we can't forget minced garlic. Once you got that all, just kind of stir it around in your bowl a little bit so it pours in there evenly. And then just dump it into the blender. Oh man, my space. Alright, once that's in the blender, basically all you want to do is just kind of pulse it a few times with the mix. You don't really got to do a whole lot because, I mean, you can see it mixes. It's in there pretty well. Once you get it mixed up, put it in the pot. Okay, out of the blender, into the pot. From there, you really can just, like I'm going to put it on my back heating element here. And we're just going to let it kind of slow cook, maybe at a really low medium heat. Just kind of let it do its own thing. Let it cook real slow, get all that together, kind of get thick. You can also, with the bowl that you did with the seasonings, if you did what I did, or even with your blender, you could splash just a little bit of water in there to go into the mix, but not too much because you don't want it to be like super runny. For a good sauce, you want it to be pretty thick, so we'll just kind of let this do its own thing. I'm going to add a couple bay leaves, if I can manage to somehow get this dang thing open. Okay, it's open. Okay. Couple bay leaves. And then just let that slow cook on medium, like I said. Now, from here, a good thing to do is go ahead and get your noodles boiling. So that's what I'm going to do. And once my noodles are boiled, because I'm sure you don't want to see that, we'll get back to everything else and start with the meat, getting that cooked up. Alright, once you've got all your noodles boiled, at this point, you can take the noodles off the cut your sauce, which is back here, down to a simmer. As you can see, the sauce it's gotten a lot thicker. But the noodles, it's time to actually, like I said, set them to the side. Just kind of dump out this water and put in some cold water. And now we're going to start on our meat. Before we put the meat in, you actually want to simmer up some garlic and parsley into the pan, and go ahead and add your ground beef and a couple of bay leaves as well. Once you've got the meat cooked down a little bit, you just want to get the ground beef cooked just a little bit before adding the sausage. Go ahead and add the sausage into there as well. Whoa. Okay. This sausage I actually prepared myself. It was regular turkey sausage, and I actually seasoned it with a lot of garlic and oregano right beforehand. Okay, we're gonna let this cook for a little bit now. Oh, it looks crazy. And then we're gonna actually get started on preparing the ricotta cheese. Sorry about that shake. Okay, this part is really easy with the ricotta cheese. I've already kind of mixed up 2 eggs in here, as you can see. That's really all you gotta do is take 2 eggs and just about 1/4 of a cup of parsley. Just dump that down in there. And then about 2.5 tablespoons of oregano. And then we're just gonna mix all of this up as we go. Also, I'd make sure you use a pretty big bowl. I made that mistake just a second ago. This is 30 ounces of ricotta cheese, by the way. And you just want to mix all of that together really well. Okay, and at this point, if you're like me, you had to switch pans, probably again on something else, because you misjudged proportions. I'm so totally bad at that. Well, now we're going to add basil and tomato paste into the 1 can of tomato paste if you got it, or maybe about like 5-6 ounces, something like that. You can just add into there, and you're just going to let that cook into the meat. I'll get a spoon for that in a second. And then you add your basil. It's like 2 tablespoons of basil. And you just want to stir that up and let it all cook together. Oh, this is hard to do one-handed. Be prepared too, here in a little bit you're going to have to dump out some grease. If you didn't already, I've already had to dump out a lot of it. I'm going to have to add just a tad bit more of the tomato paste. But yeah, like 6 ounces of that. I was a little off on my thing. I just used a measuring cup, but guess the whole way. Alright. And then get all that stirred up. And of course, again, make sure you dump all of that oil safely. I've still got some in there I gotta get out, but definitely do it safely. Alright, at this point we're also going to be moving on from the meat mixture here with the sausage and the beef. And our sauce has gotten really thick now, which is good. And we've got our ricotta mixed. Now it's time to start assembling this thing. At this point you should have already removed the bay leaves from the mixture there, and also you should have removed it from your sauce as well. Be sure to get those bay leaves out. Okay, at this point you should have your oven preheated to 350. I actually have my pan here oiled up, as you can see, with a little bit of parsley and oregano kind of scattered up across the bottom. Okay, you actually had a chunk left in there. You don't want to use too much because we're literally going to be doing this in layers. Okay, next will be our noodles. Switch hands here. Okay, the idea here is to get a full layer of noodles here on the bottom. You just want to kind of stretch it in there the best you can. And I actually have to improvise a little bit with this one. I'm going to have to do 3 layers. Well, yeah, 3 layers of 3x3s on the noodles here. And on my noodles, actually, while I let everything else cook, I actually had them sitting in a little bit of olive oil, scattered with some parsley over the top of those as well. Okay, that's the basic idea. It's good to have a towel nearby too, after handling all that oil. Switch hands here again. Okay. And now you want to add like a layer of meat. We got plenty of meat. And it's the sausage ground beef mixture. And kind of spread that out the best you can as well. We got a lot of meat though, so we don't gotta really hold back on any of that. The reason I actually wanted to start off with this one first on the cookbook was mainly because the fact that I have already, if you can't tell, some basic lasagna knowledge from where me and my grandmother always used to make lasagna growing up as a kid. It was always a really fun thing for us to both do. Go in the kitchen and make a big batch of lasagna, because we always had a lot of people over that wanted to eat as well. That's how it was really growing up there with my grandparents. Okay, and then after that, where'd I put it? We're going to add our ricotta cheese layer. There we go. You got a lot of ricotta too, so also don't gotta hold back there. 30 ounces can go pretty far. You just want to like dollop it out in just like quite a few frequent places. And then after that, it's going to be pretty easy. One more time. Okay, now one more time. That should do it. And you just kind of smear it out the best you can all over the pan. You really want it to be covered all over the layer there. Basically like that. That's what you're looking for. Okay, then right after that, we want the most important part probably, the cheese. And I actually used this here is some mozzarella cheese, which the recipe actually calls for, which is pretty traditional, I would say. You want to get quite a bit of that on there. Of course, cheese. And I'll also have some Monterey Jack cheese that I wanted to add on there, because I really love cheese, and Monterey Jack is one of my favorites. Okay, and then after that, okay, that's good. We go with another layer of sauce. Which I'm going to finish saucing this up. And I will be on to the next part. Really, this is just what you gotta do, is really rinse and repeat action here. Really rinse and repeat. Just literally another layer of noodles, more meat, more ricotta, more cheese, and I'll be right back with the top layer. Okay, here we are, top layer. This time, it's going to be way different on the top layer. Sorry about that. But, yeah, this time, no ricotta. So we're going to start off with the sauce right on top. Just kind of smearing what we can, what's actually left on there. Might not be a bad idea to go ahead and use 5 tomatoes in that sauce. But 4 still work pretty well. It's very saucy all the way through, so we don't gotta worry about it. Just a good thin coat over the top here is pretty much just enough. The other layers have been filled up though, all the way. Let's see if I can get a nice dump in there. Yeah, that works. Okay. Just smear that. Okay. Now we're going to hit it with the last layer of the meat. And again, you know, I didn't follow the recipe step by step off the Ignis cookbook. I improvised some. But if you try to improvise the things I actually improvised along the way, they're not bad. All good stuff. Once you've got a pretty good bit of the meat on there, you can go ahead and add your cheese. But before that, actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. There's a whole layer I missed. Get that last bit on there. Need a spoon. Good thing I got one right here. Okay, get this last bit on there. And then we're going to add all of our veggies, which should have already been diced at this point. If you didn't, now's a good time too. We've got the squash for a lot of good color. Some zucchini in there too. Also some red onions. Almost took a video of me chopping these onions. I cried the whole time. They're a lot stronger than what I thought they were going to be. It's got a shit ton of onions now. Okay, once you feel comfortable with everything, all the places on there, it's looking pretty good. You go ahead and add your top layer of cheese. Alright, looks nice and pretty, don't it? Okay. Dump the last bit of that in the blind spots. And that's what it looks like all covered up. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some grated Parmesan right on top. I wish I would have opened it beforehand. You live and learn, let me tell you. Live and learn. Okay, and just add that Parmesan right on top of there, just like that. Nice Parmesan. Okay, that's it. And after that, you should have had the oven preheated for 350. Just leave it in there for about an hour, and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Try some out. Well, so here we are. The end of the lasagna. This is what it looks like from the side, the top, the angle and everything. Mine took a little bit more than an hour, but myself, I actually did this while we were streaming last night. So the original recipe would take 1 hour, but if you did it like I did, cooking it at 200 degrees, it takes about 3 hours, but no doubt you can just cut right into all of that and it's literally no problem. And seriously, gonna be one great meal with all the cheese, the ricotta, everything in between. Glad pretty much everything went down the way I wanted it to. Also have a nice mixture going down here of some other stuff with some ranch and other spices for a good sauce here. Just some parsley, basil, fresh cut red pepper, freshly ground parsley as well, with some ranch, just some classic ranch. Alright, let's try to look at this lasagna here. Here goes the good scoop. Oh, it's a messy one. Part of the top fell off. Oh man. On a first scoop. Round 2 on first scoop. It does look great though, on plate. That's pretty much it. Let's take an admirable look at that for a second. And then, oh, that is what it is. And that's lasagna, like Ignis would make it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Alright, here we go. In game. Let's try to get a little bit of noodle, a little bit of everything here. Maybe even a little bit of the squash. Trying to get it raked over there. Now I'm gonna reach my fork over. Get quite a bit of this ranch with all those seasonings we added to it a second ago. And that's everything basically. One big ass bite. Yeah, it's good. Gotta try it, no doubt. May look crazy, but it's great.
Take it easy, everyone. Good, not. Good morning. Take it easy.